Michelle with Pink and Maine. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm going to be creating some cards with our bear hugs, stamps, dies, and more. So let's head on down to the table and let's make some cards. The first card we're going to be making is a funfold card. It's a nice stand-up card. It's good for displaying, but what you need is 2 top folding A2 size cards. I have one in red that's going to be our card base. This is our stop sign cardstock. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I have a top folding card base in white, but I have cut it 1/4 inch smaller than our red card base. So there's a little border that goes around the card. So you cut 1/4 inch off one side and 1/4 inch off the bottom, and you will have a 4 by 5 1/4 card base when folded. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take on the front of this card, you're going to score it right down the middle and then fold it back just like that. We can go ahead and glue these 2 card bases together. So I have my red card base on the table. The white card base, I'm going to put it with this folded side facing up, but as you can see, it opens the opposite from the card base on the table. Card base on the table opens up from the bottom just like that, like you would look at a regular card. This one is going to open at the top up here. We're going to put it upside down on the red card base, and then this flap folds down like so. So let's adhere this to the red card base. Just going to center it and stick it down. So now I have my card base already, and you can see how it creates like little steps, little accordion fold here, so that when you stand it up on the table or mantle, it stands up and has levels. So it's a nice little display card. All we have left to do is decorate it, and I've got some pattern papers and some of those cute images from the Bear Hug stamp set. I've cut some red and white polka dot. This is from our Warm Basics paper pad. It has all the nice warm colors, reds, pinks, oranges, yellows, in different patterns. Love this tape runner, how easily it dispenses and works really well. This is a plus tape runner that we have on our site now. It fits nicely in my hand. It's nice to hold. Now we're going to close that flap. I'm going to fold it down in the front, and I'm going to add this colorful stripe pattern paper. A little tip for using tape runners is if you're right-handed, if you put it in your hand and you can see the logo, then you're holding it properly and the tape will come out. So see, if I hold this upside down, my logo, I can't see it. I'm looking at the back of the machine. The tape will not run that way. So just if you haven't used tape runners very much, when you pick it up, and if you're right-handed, you want to see the logo in your hand as you do it. It'll be the opposite if you're left-handed. Now I have a strip of purple cardstock, about 1/4 inch thick, that I'm going to put right across the top of this, just as a nice border between the stripes and the polka dots. Here's our card so far. This is super simple to do, but it's a nice little fun fold card for the recipient to get and be able to display. The next thing we're going to add is I have cut out a heart from our pink Salon cardstock. And this is our double stitched heart dies that I've used for these hearts on the card. And after I die cut it, I ran it through with our Polka Hearts embossing folder, so you can see those little dimensional hearts on there. I thought that was really cute. Just adds a little extra texture to your card. I'm going to glue this kind of right in the center of the card, upwards just a little bit, but I'm only going to glue this bottom portion to the stripe paper here because I want it to pop up when the front of the card comes up. So I don't want to glue this top part down. I just want to glue this bottom portion. And embossing folders are really fun to use. You can use either the embossed or the debossed side. The debossed side on this with the hearts that go into the paper is really just as cute as the embossed side. So you can play around and get different looks with your embossing folders. Now I'm going to play around with the placement of my characters. I've got these two sweet little bears. I've also got a red polka dot heart and a purple heart that I've cut out with those double stitched heart dies. And I've got the sentiment stamped and just cut out with a little flag end there. It says, "Hey, sweetie." I'm going to put the sentiment on this side. Put this little red heart here and the purple heart there. So we can go ahead and adhere these down. I've added some foam tape to the back of my characters and the little purple heart, just to have them pop up off the card a little bit for a little added dimension. And lastly, we'll add this purple heart here at the top. So here's our little card. It says, "Hey, sweetie." It's super cute. Like I said, the recipient can stand that up on the mantle or table and have a nice little display card. So just a quick little fun fold card. For our next card, we're going to do a little bit of foiling. For this card, I have a top folding A2 size card. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when folded. We do sell pre-scored and pre-cut white card bases which are perfect if you're like me. I hate to cut and score card bases. I always get something crooked, whether it's the cut or the score. I always mess up the score line. That's usually where I goof. But I love having the pre-made card bases ready to go. For the next layer of this card, I've cut some of our brown glitter paper. It's really pretty and sparkly. And then at the bottom edge, I've used our fun shape border dies, and I've cut that little scalloped edge. And then for my foilable piece, I've cut it slightly smaller than the glitter paper, so you have a border around each edge. But I've cut the bottom of that with the stitched die that matches the scallop. So you get a really fun little border at the bottom of those sheets. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the glitter paper down to the card base. I've turned my ink machine on. This is our Pink and Main pink ink machine. And you heard it beep and turn green. It only takes a couple minutes to heat up and be ready. But before we foil our foilable, we always want to dust it off. Make sure there's no dust, debris, or pet hair that's going to get in between the foilable and the foil. So we're also going to dust the back of the foil as well. Now I'm not only foiling that foilable, but as an accent piece on the card, I've cut a piece of our black toner sheet, which is just a solid black printed piece of paper. And I want to foil that with the same foil I'm using for the foilable panel. So I've got my transfer folder. And I'm going to put both our foilable and the black toner sheet in the folder. And then I'm going to cover them with our foil. And you want to put it pretty side up. I'm using our rose gold cheer foil. It's a beautiful rose gold color, and I thought it went really nice with this brown or bronze glitter paper. So we just run that straight through the ink machine. When you pull it out of the ink machine, it's going to be hot. And we do not want to pull the foil away from the foilable until it's cool to the touch. I hope you can see how gorgeous this rose gold color is. It's very pretty. Now that it's cooled off, I could peel it away and reveal that beautiful foiled piece underneath. And I always say keep your negative piece and foil a solid toner sheet with it, and you'll get that pattern to show up on your toner sheet. Okay, now we have our foilable ready. We're going to adhere it down to our glitter paper and assemble our card. Next, I have a strip of the brown glitter paper that I'm going to put across, kind of along the bottom there. And we're going to add that rose gold foiled strip right across the top of that. Now all is left to add our sentiment and our little characters. I have stamped sending bear hugs, cut just a little pennant flag end there out of it, and I'm going to adhere that down to that rose gold strip. Like so. I've got our little bear. He's holding a little chocolate truffle. So cute. I've added some foam tape to the back just to pop them up a little bit for dimension. Just add him to the side. And then I've got a couple other little truffles that I thought, little chocolates, that we could add around the bear. So let's adhere those. There we go. There is our cute Sending Bear Hugs card. This little bear hug set is perfect for not only Valentine's Day, but anytime you just want to tell someone that you love them or that you care. I mean, when do you not just want to send someone some big bear hugs, right? Love that. All right, for our last card, we're going to do a little foiling again, and we're also using more glitter paper. I always say you can never have too much sparkle and shine. Never be afraid to mix your foil with your glitter papers. They really do work well together. It all goes together to make really pretty, shiny, sparkly card. So we'll do our foiling first. I've got this Polka Hearts foilable. And again, we want to dust that off before we foil it so that we get good foil adhesion to that toner print. We also want to dust off the back of our foil. I'm just using our cleanup brush to dust these off. Put it in the transfer folder. I'm using a really fun and unique foil for this one. This is our Candy Swirl, and it's like swirls of silver and red. It's really pretty. It looks great at the holidays too, for like peppermints and such. But anytime you want a nice red and silver mixture, this is a good go-to. And it's really nice on a pattern foilable that has nice solid pieces to it, so you can really see that red and silver swirl. I'm going to pull this out of the transfer folder, and I'm going to set it aside and let it cool while we look at our parts and pieces to our card and start to assemble it. I have a top folding A2 size card base again, and for my bottom layers, I've cut some red glitter paper that is the size of the card base with one of our stitched rectangle dies. And then I've cut a piece of our asphalt black cardstock to layer on top of that. So let's put those on the card. Use quite a bit of tape runner there to adhere this black panel to the glitter paper, because the glitter paper has a little texture to it, so we want to make sure it holds. I usually like to use liquid glue to adhere cardstock to glitter paper, but we're out of our Easy Squeeze craft glue. I'm working on getting that back in stock, but that will do. So we have the base of our card there. Next, we're going to add this wide strip of silver glitter paper, and I've cut the edge with our scallop border dies. So that's going to go right there, and then the red cardstock is going to go right in the center. We're going to leave a little strip of silver on this side, and then that scalloped silver over here. Actually, I'm not going to adhere that down yet. I'm forgetting our foiled panel, which goes on top of the black. So I've got this, and now we can do my favorite part, peel and reveal. Again, I have another pattern in this foil now that I can foil a solid toner sheet. I have other videos where I show you how to do that, so you want to make sure you check them out if you're not sure what I'm talking about. But you can use this foil again on a solid toner sheet and get this nice background with the hearts that show through. So let's adhere our foilable down to our card base. First, let's show you in the different light. Look at that cool pattern, the silver and the red on those hearts. That's really pretty. And I cut that so it just has that nice slight border of black around it. Gives it nice definition whenever you use layers like that. You want to separate our foilable piece from that glitter paper, so that thin little black strip throughout there does that really nicely. Gives it a real finished look. So now we can add our silver piece. Let's add our red cardstock. Here's our card so far with lots of sparkle and shine. That's looking really good. So I cut out from our fancy tag dies this tag here, and I used the heart in the set to cut out like the little heart So it's a little hole in the top of the tag. And I want to stamp our sentiment on the bottom of the tag. And the sentiment that I'm using says, "Love you bunches." I've never used this stamp before, so I'm going to show you how I condition one of our stamps. You don't need to do a lot of scrubbing or rubbing or anything to condition them. I ink it up, I stamp it a few times on a scratch piece of paper, or in this instance just on the back of my paper that I'm going to use. And you can see the first stamp I did stamped beautifully, and then I actually have some really nice lighter stamps as well. So they don't need a lot of conditioning. Our stamps are very high quality and they're good to go right from the start. I stamped that "Love you bunches" right on the bottom of the tag. It came out perfect. I will wipe my stamp up later. I'm not real fussy about how I clean my stamps. I usually just take them and wipe them off on our microfiber Clean It cloths, and I'm ready to go next time. Now I want to add a little bit of twine to my tag. So I've got some red and gray twine here. And I'm just going to put it through that hole. Kind of bring the other twine through the loop and pull it tight at the top. And then I can cut the excess. Then I like to take my fingers when I have twine just kind of loose like this, and I like to fray the ends a little bit, separate them out, just make it fuller. There we go. And now we can add the tag to the card. I'm just going to adhere it at a little angle. There we go. Last but not least, we're going to add our little bear who's holding a few roses behind its back. And I've got one little extra rose that I'm going to adhere maybe down here by the sentiment. I've added some foam tape to the back of the bear just to give some dimension. There we go. And here's our card. Isn't that sweet? Thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed these cards we've created with our Bear Hugs stamps and dies, some foilables, some fun border dies. You can find them all at pinkandmane.com or ask your local retailer. And until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.